to you for around half an hour today.
Thank you, Robbie, and good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you're from. My name is Robbie, and I'm a recovered addict, and I have a permanent recovery date. It's October 31st of 1983. From that moment to this moment, I've been completely free of any mind or mood-altering chemicals, including cocaine and everything else. And it's an honor to be here. I want to say thank you, group. Clear Cut Directions group. Y'all right up my alley. I love my big book. If you love your big book, wave your hands in the air right now. I want to see those hands going up. That's it, Robbie. Come on, put those hands up. There you go, Chris. All my sponsees in the group. And I do too. Hi, Joni. Hey, Summer, Chrissy. So anyway, it's great to be here. It's great. Thank you, Sue. What I love about Cocaine's Anonymous, right, is the friendliness, the camaraderie. Not too long ago, I was in Toronto at the regional CA convention, and we had about 500 recovering addicts and recovered addicts in the room. And Robbie, it was amazing. If you've never been to a sobriety countdown at a CA convention, you gotta go. Because you know what? We do recover, and we do recover and have some fun, man. That's for real, right? All right. So one thing I want to talk about tonight is, first of all, welcome to all the newcomers. I saw everybody, putting their day count in the chat area. Some are back, some are in. Let me share something about you, about me. I am in CA. I'm not around it. I'm not a spectator. I am in CA, NAA. I'm right in the middle of the program. And I would suggest you to please come in too. Come all the way in, right, babe? Sit all the way down and come join us. I don't know about all of you, but boy, when I was out there using coke and ripping and roaring, I was all in. Can anybody relate to that? When you was out there in your addictions, who else was all in? That's right, Robbie. Me too, man. So I came here and I got here to CA right after the fellowship started, quite frankly, and they told me to get a sponsor, right? They told me to get the big book, right? They told me to get a sponsor. They told me, Leanne, to take the 12 steps. They know what they said, Leanne? They said, take them off the wall, or you're going to have an off-the-wall program. See, I don't want an off-the-wall program. See, I don't want to look good for an hour and a half when I'm in the middle of you guys and gals, and then go out there and live a crazy life. Today I've been employed at the same employer for 35 years. I'm sharing that for the newcomer, Robbie. I'm sharing that for hope. I love hope. See that? Do you all see the hope on my wall back there? It says HOPE. Hang on, pain ends. There is hope here. And I just love that. I love when us addicts can come together, without no substances, without no mind or mood altering substances. And we could just take these 12 steps and live an amazing life. I want to go to page 17 in the big book of alcohol, the big book. And what it says is this. This is pretty cool. It says a tremendous fact for each and every one of us is that we have discovered a common solution, right? We have a way out in which we could absolutely agree and join in brotherly and harmonious action. And see, what that's saying is, yeah, we did all kind of different substances. Alcohol, coke, crank. I mean, you mentioned it. I did it. Smoked it, snorted it, shot it, drank it, swallowed it, inhaled it. I mean, whatever. I did it, man. It says in our big book, it says in the doctor's opinion, it says we use because we like the effect produced by the drug, right? Everybody relate to that? So when I came to CA, you know what I needed to see? I needed to see an effect, Robbie, right? And I saw it right away. I came here and you people started hugging me, man. You people started saying you love me, right? And that was beyond my wildest dreams, man. Can all you relate before coming into CA or AA, whatever program you're in, how people weren't too happy to see you? Can anybody relate to that? I know I sure can, you know. And now I come here and I got my friends that showed up today from the States, you know, and I'm so grateful for that. Today I got friends, not enemies. Yeah. So my story's real simple, man. It's kind of odd as well. I come from a real, healthy, nurturing, loving family. Yeah, I got no excuses, right? I didn't drink because I got beat up. I didn't drink or drug because I was sexually abused. You know, I didn't use coke to fit in. Like hey, Robbie, I was even encouraged. I was good in a certain sport, and I was encouraged by my parents, you know? I had girlfriends. I played football in the United States of America. I don't know what kind of football you got. I think your ball's round over there in Scotland. Ours looks like this. This is football. Okay, just saying. And I played football, and I dated a cheerleader. Okay, I hung with the popular kids, right? Right, Summer? So what's my excuse? Why did I start using? You know? And my big book tells me why. My big book tells me today I'm armed with the facts about myself. Today I realize, you know, that I'm a real alcoholic, right, Summer? You say that all the time. I'm a real alcoholic. I'm a real addict. That means that, you know, like, I don't, you guys just read it. I don't just use one substance or use one time. I don't say I got to work tomorrow. You know, I forget that I have a job. You know, I take money from banks without a withdrawal slip when I'm using. You know, when I do cocaine, man, I get crazy in the membrane, insane in the membrane. And when I came here to CA and AA, y'all people told me it was okay to be normal. You know, I don't have to be nuts anymore. Nuts means not using the steps. And so, you know, if you're nuts and you're not using the steps, God bless you. That's not how I roll today. I'm so weird. Like when I came here, I got a sponsor. I got a big book. You know, I don't like doing prison time. I'm not going to ask you to raise your hand if you do good, if you're good doing time. I'm not going to. But I know I don't. I don't like showering with all dudes. I don't like being locked up in a pen. I don't like being told when to go to sleep and when to eat. And single file, gentlemen, and lights out. And I came here to CA, and y'all told me when I was 22 years old that I didn't have to live that way anymore. Y'all told me to sit up front. Y'all told me to get my hand up when I come to a meeting. Y'all told me that if somebody asks you to sponsor them, you say yes. And you take them through the 12 steps. And I've been doing that for 40 years, kids. And I'll tell you what, I'm more excited about recovery now. I'm more excited about being a recovered addict now than I was 10 years ago, 20 years ago, or 30 years ago. You know why? It gets better. You know, it's kind of like, I don't know if y'all got Netflix over in Scotland. You got Netflix over there, Robbie? I don't know. But we have a big show here called, you do, thank you. I feel like I'm in another world, so I'm so sorry. and we have Netflix, and there's different seasons. Right, of Sopranos or something like that. And in CA, there's different seasons, right, Joni? There's different seasons, and they're so exciting. You know, I never know what the next season's going to be. But guess what? I can tell you this. I'm going to show up, and I'm going to be present. You see? See, back when I was using, I was never present. All I cared about was me. And now I come here and I get armed with the facts about myself. And I realize I can help somebody else. And that's my job today. You know, when Robbie Facebooked me and he said, "Hey, Robbie, it's a national holiday coming up. Can you speak for us?" And I said, "Yes, I can. Let's do it." And because I'm a car dealer and we don't have too many normal days off, right? And so I look forward to this all day. I told all my friends, I'm like, "Hey, we're having a party at 2:30 Eastern time." I think that's, I don't know, what's that, 7:30 your time? I don't even know what time it is in Scotland. But yeah, I'm right. Thank you. And but it's certainly an honor to be here. Newcomers, I am so happy for you. I am so stoked for you. Because you have no idea what's getting ready to happen. I used to think having a whole pile of drugs and money and a gal, I always thought that, man, this is great, you know? And then 5 days later, I wake up, you know, incarcerated, right, Craig? I don't know why I picked you out, but I show up incarcerated somewhere, and the money's gone, the girl's gone, and the drugs are gone, and all I got is me, and oh, by the way, I don't like me. Can anybody relate to that? I don't like me without using. I don't like me at all. Hey, listen, Megan, I hate myself so much that I'm a suicide survivor. I am not going to ask you to raise your hand, but hurry up and believe. If you thought about trying to kill yourself because of your cocaine use and your mind or mood altering drugs and your alcohol use, please get my number. Summer, please put my number in the chat. I give you permission. And please hit me up. If you know what it's like a millisecond before you try to kill yourself, hit me up. Because I'm a recovered addict with over 40 years of clean time, man. And God has saved me, man. He saved me from that wreckage. He saved me from living on the streets. He saved me from drooling all over myself. He saved me from having marks all over my... When I came into CA, I had marks all over my face from all the stuff that I was putting in my body. Can anybody relate to going to we go to hospitals over here back in the early 80s when I got clean and sober, and I would get my stomach pumped because I had so much cocaine and methamphetamine and uppers and downers and in-betweeners and alcohol in me. And they had to pump my stomach. And then they would pump my stomach, Jerry, and I would leave the hospital. You know where I left, Jerry, right here in Cape May Courthouse, New Jersey. And I would have nowhere to go. And I would run right back to the main manufacturer of my misery. And I would try to get more because I got the disease of more. And I have untreated addictions. And I need a program. I don't know about you, but I all need a program, man. I need help. You know, I can't do this alone. Listen, I tell all my sponsees, a couple of them are in this room. I guarantee you that you will not make more meetings than me. Is that right, Jerry? Is that right, Jerry? I know you can relate to that. I make tons of meetings. You know, right, Chris? And the reality of it is I make a lot of meetings, but I sit up front also. It says that every recovery meeting is an assurance, you know, as long as we relate ourselves to our higher power, that we're going to have another amazing day. And so I come here and I sit up front. I turn my video on if I'm on Zoom. That's just for me. Don't get an attitude with me. I'm not getting no debate society. I resigned from that. But I turn my video on. I raise my hand at meetings, right? I sit up front. Hey, Mark, when they say they need something to do, I say, I'll do it. You know? And by the way, good news, addicts and alcoholics are generally lazy people. Well, Bill W. in the big book calls them undisciplined, but I think what he was trying to say was lazy. So the good news is, if you're a recovering addict here and you want to do some work, we got a lot of jobs for you because most people don't want to do them. Most people want to show up a little bit late and leave a little bit early. Oh, and maybe I'll get my hand up to tell you about my ism, my ickiness. Maybe, if you're lucky, because I don't have a sponsor. But for me, I can't do that. For me, I got to come here and I got to suit up and I got to show up. And I got to share about the program. You know, Bill Wilson says in the big book, he says this is a drastic program of recovery. See, I'm not here to win friends and influence people. I'd rather hurt your feelings and save your life. Most of my sponsees hated me early on. And that's okay. God says, I got a job for you. And it's on page 77 of the big book. Let's all go to it. And here's what page 77 says. It says that what our real purpose is to fit ourselves to be of what kind of service? Maximum service to God and the people about us. That means I turn my video on when I go to a Zoom meeting. That means when I go to an AA meeting or a CA meeting, I sit up front. That means if I'm here, I take the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous, or I take you through the 12 steps of Cocaine's Anonymous. You see? That means I'm right in the middle. You know, people on the exterior, when you're around the program, they're the ones that get picked off. I stay right in the middle of the herd, and that's how I roll today. You know, I got told early on, if I don't stand for something, I'll fall for anything. And I stand for being a recovered addict. And I'm going to share with you what that word means. Recovered means restored to usefulness. Can everybody that's been restored to usefulness in their raise your hand? I want to see all the recovered addicts raising your hand. Raise them in the hand. Yeah, up to the air, Matt. Come on, Matt. Up to the ceiling, baby. That's right. And that means we've recovered. That means we've been restored to usefulness. Hey, listen, I got something to share with you. If you're still recovering from the flu, you can't go back to work yet. If you're still recovering from a sickness, you can't go back to work yet because you're going to infect people. Please, we beg of you to go from that bridge of reason to the shore of faith. Please, come on over. It's beautiful on this island of recovery. Today I got faith. Today I can't, reason says, Robbie Walker, you're never going to be anything to anybody. I'm a 3-time convicted felon. I did time in mental hospitals. I've been in straitjackets. I've been held down by orderlies. I've had stuff shut in my rear end to calm me down. So reason tells me that I'll never be anything to anybody. And God says, no, you're important in my life, young man. You're an addict and you've been through hell. And I got addicts that I need you to help. And so I get a chance to go all over to carry the CA message and the AA message. And I do it with excitement, and I do it with enthusiasm, and I do it with honor. See, I always get dressed up when I get a chance to share. And there's a reason for that. And that's because I respect you. Clear Cut Directions Group, I respect you today. I'm in a place of honor. I'm in a place where God has put his broken kids. I'm a kid that, when I got here at 22, now I'm 62 today, but when I got here at 22 years old, I couldn't even put a sentence together, man. I didn't even think I was worth living, Chantel. You see? And I sat next to other addicts, and you guys put your arm around me. And at first that scared me because of where I came from. I didn't want anybody touching me, Robbie. And y'all felt that. And y'all said, it's okay. Nobody's going to hurt you here in CA. We're here to help you, brother. And I was so excited about that. And so I did what they told me to do. Addicts in this meeting, please, 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 we beg of you from the very start, be fearless and thorough. If you don't have a sponsor yet, get one before you leave this meeting. Go in the chat and say, I need a sponsor. Go ahead, do it now. Say, I need a sponsor. And there will be somebody here that will sponsor you. Or just stay around the program for a little longer and tempt fate. That's up to you. I've been sponsored for 39 years and about 11 months. I got my first sponsor when I had about 2 months of clean time. And boy, did I need a sponsor. I didn't know how to have a relationship with somebody. I didn't know how to work. I mean, I knew how to steal. I could steal, But that my sponsor said that's not a good character asset. I said, okay, I'll have to figure out how to work. And I started working, and I paid bills for the first time. I got my first vehicle when I had 2.5 years of recovery. 2.5 years it took me. For 2.5 years, I rode bikes to meetings. For 2.5 years, I got rides from other members, Andy F. And I did it graciously. For 2.5 years, I listened to y'all. For 2.5 years, I listened like only a dying can. And that's what I had to do. Because I was dying. I was dying on the inside. And y'all people gave me hope. You gave me love. You cared about me. And I never got that when I was out there. What I was using, man, only thing they cared about was if I had a drug. And when the drug was gone, so were they. And you people love me at all times in recovery. And I love that. Right, babe? We love, we don't shoot our wounded here in CA. We love you. Listen, we will love you before you love yourself. Let me say that again. When I was new, I hated myself. And y'all love me anyway. Don't put that crap out there. We can't love you until you love yourself. Bull donkeys. You people love me when I hated myself. And you know what, Megan? When I was brand new, some dude took me into his home with his wife and 2 kids, and I'm 22 years old, and at this point, Robbie, I'm a stray dog at best. I'm a stray dog at best. And he would take me out into his backyard at night, and he would say to me, Robbie, I'd say, yes, Don. He said, do you realize that you're going to help a lot of people someday? And I said, no, I'm not, Don. I'm a loser. I can't be trusted. I'm a thief. And I'm a 3-time convicted felon. My mom and dad don't want me around. And my little sister, the last time she saw me, she said, I wish you would just die. I said, Don, you don't know who I am. And he walked me to the edge of his property, and there was a nice little cliff. I thought he was going to push me off. And he said, Robbie, if you stay in this program and you promise me you won't pick up a mind or mood-altering drug or a drink, you are going to be somebody very, very special. And for the first time in my life, I believed somebody. See, there's a difference between belief and faith. I'm going to tell you the difference. Faith don't happen until you do the action. You can believe what I'm saying all you want, but until you do some action, you will not have the same faith that I possess or we possess. See, faith is just belief that has done its work. Right? Courage is just fear that has said its prayers. See, I might seem courageous to you, and that just means I got up this morning, I got on my knees, and I did my prayers. I don't live in fear. I don't have a fear-based message. I have a faith-based message. Today, with the help of a higher power, I could do all things. I could come here and tell you about my big problems. I sure can. But I prefer to come to CA and tell you about my big God. Because he took this kid, a 22-year-old kid that nobody wanted around, not even the authorities. Most times they were glad to get rid of me. Listen to this, Megan. The rehabs would get me and they would kick me out. Even the rehabs that were trying to clean people up, I was too wild for them. And I came to a fellowship like CA, and y'all people said, you'll do just fine. Did you know, Robbie, the sicker you are, the better you're going to get? That's what they told me. And I only started believing them once I did the actions. And that's my message today. Faith without works is dead. What am I doing today to stay in recovery? What am I doing today to call myself a recovered addict? What am I doing? Am I taking the steps? Am I taking the men through the steps, Jerry? You have an answer for that. I know you do. Right? Today, I don't think people will ever remember. When I'm long gone, they won't remember what Robbie W. said from the Jersey Shore. But I'll bet you dimes and donuts, they will remember how I made them feel. And that's my goal today, babe. My goal today ain't to be no preacher, lecturer, pastor, or professor. My goal today is that when you come to a group that I'm in, that I make you feel welcome. Just like the man named Don made me feel welcome, Summer, when I was brand new. When he told me, he said, you got a place to stay? And I said, no, not really. And he said, come on home with me, boy. And I met his wife and his 2 kids, and they gave me a place to stay. And now it's 40 years later, and I'm sitting in a beautiful home at the Jersey Shore. I got an amazing job. I have a daughter that has graduated from college, and she used to go with Daddy to his CA conventions, right? And sit up on stage with me, Megan. She would play her games and all, right? When I would get done speaking and everybody would give me a hug, she would get hugs too, right? She loved us so much. Guess what she does now? She's a therapist. She's an addictions and mental health counselor. She's a therapist. That's my daughter. Because that's all she ever knew. All she ever knew was CA and AA. She never saw her daddy drink or drug or abuse her. So there's hope here. Hope can be found here. But sometimes you got to look for it. I remember I was new. I had a couple of years, and I was at a CA convention, and there was a fellow named Reverend Ed Mutum Sharon from Davenport, Iowa. He's from the United States of America. And he gave this message that you ever been at a convention and you're crying and you're laughing, or you're at a meeting, you're crying and you're laughing. You know, you're being touched by the speaker, right? And the meeting got over and I went up to Pastor Ed. He was about 6'11", and I looked up at him and I said, Pastor Ed. He said, yes. And he saw my name tag. He said, yes, Robbie. I said, Pastor Ed, I saw your God today. And you know what he said to me, friends of the Clear Cut Directions group? He said, Robbie, you saw my God because that's who you were looking for. So I ask you, what are you looking for here today? If you're looking for insanity, you'll find it. I'm not. If you're looking for drama, you'll find that in the rooms. But if you're looking to have a healthy and sane life, and you're willing to take these 36 spiritual principles, the 12 steps, the 12 traditions, and the 12 concepts, and you're willing to put them in your life, and you're willing to go out there and say, hey, this is me, good and bad. This is me. You know, the third step prayer is one of my favorite prayers. I know I'm getting short now. I got about 5 minutes. The third step prayer is my favorite prayer. It says, Dear God, please take away my difficulties so victory over them may bear witness to those that I would help. Of thy power, that means his. Thy love, that means his. And thy way of life, that means his. See, this is not my way of life. This is our way of life. If you're in recovery and you're recovered and you're embarking on this journey, it says on page 100, you will walk day by day into the fellowship of the Spirit, hand in hand, shoulder to shoulder. I stand on the shoulder of giants today, and I make no bones about that. You know, I'm not planning on going anywhere. I've only got 40 years in the program so far. Notice I said in. Are you in the program of CA today, or are you around it? Do you have a sponsor that encourages you to get a CA job? Do you have a sponsor that encourages you to take the steps when you don't want to? Do you go to a home group? Are you active? Right, Robbie? I know you are, brother. Are you active? Do you have a commitment or two or three? I got 3 commitments. I got a commitment on Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and Friday night. That's not counting my speaking. I'm talking about 3 meetings I chair. And I say that for a reason. I'm not do as I say. This is what I do. Let's hang out. You know, let's go to some meetings together. Let's carry the message as I close. You know, my hope at all times is like I can be, right, Leanne? I want to be that guy that Don was for me. I'm not trying to impress anybody with my knowledge. I can tell you what's on every single page of this big book, other than the stories. I'm not trying to impress you with that. I'm a student of the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. I am here today to impress you with my God. To inspire means to breathe life into. I hope I've been able to breathe life into somebody today. I hope, you know, I always like to say that my words will fall to the ground, but that my higher power's words will go out and come into your heart and give you that fire. See, together, hand in hand, we can be here when that newcomer shows up. Y'all feel me with that one? You know, we can be here to carry this message. As you can tell, man, I'm a person, man. I love Bill W., the founder of Alcoholics Anonymous. I believe he was one of the best leaders of all time. Did he have defects? Of course he did. Did he have shortcomings? Of course he did. But because of him, all these fellowships, including CA, was started by a handful of AA men when I was new. And thank God for AA. And thank God for CA. And in closing, thank you, newcomers. Remember, man, you are so important. And you are so loved by so many people. You just don't know it yet. It's just, you got to get to know yourself just a little bit better. Give yourself a break. Give yourself a break and take these steps. Give yourself a break and get a sponsor that you don't like. Get a sponsor that's going to make you feel uncomfortable. Don't get a sponsor that you like. Get a sponsor that you don't like. Get a sponsor that's going to make you do things that you don't want to do against your will. And before you know it, if you're anything like me, you're going to raise your hand one day at a meeting, and you're going to say what I just said not too long ago. My name's Robbie. I'm a recovered addict. And through the grace of God, I've been a clean member of Cocaine's Anonymous for 40 years. And I say this to you. You don't ever have to lose this enthusiasm. The Greek root of enthusiasm, Robbie, is entheos. Clancy I from California taught me this, a very close friend of mine. And he said the Greek root of enthusiasm is entheos. Theos is God, and en is within. And if you got a God within, please don't you ever make apologies for him, but let him out. Let him out. And when you let him out, you're going to find out that he's going to fill you back up. I'm like this, John. I'm going to end with this, I promise. I'm like this teapot right here, right? When I came in, I wasn't a teapot. I was an ugly slab of gray clay, and I hated myself, and I wanted to kill myself daily, and I thought I was going to end up in a penitentiary dead. And God put me in this furnace called CA, and he baked me, and he painted me up as shining glistening pot. But then he said this to me. He said, Robbie Walker, every once in a while, I want you to take the top off, and I want you to let my love flow into you. And then I want you to pour my love out to anybody and everybody that'll listen. They will make fun of you. They will ridicule you. They will laugh at you, and they will call you crazy. I don't care. Keep carrying my message of hope. And when you do that, young man, I will never, ever let you down. With that, my name's Robbie. I'm an addict from the Jersey Shore, United States of America. It's been my high honor to carry the message of recovery here today. Back to you, Robbie.
Guys, come in and say thank you to Robbie.
Thank you, Robbie.
Cheers, Robbie.
Thank you, Robbie.
Oh,
Thank you, Robbie.
Robbie.
Robbie, thank you.
Yes, Robbie.
Thanks, Robbie. Good to hear you.
Beautiful.